Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a comic book review of Batman Killing Time, issue number 1, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. We begin this issue of Batman Killing Time with Waylon Jones exiting a bus right outside of the First National Bank of Gotham City. It is pouring rain like no other, but Jones heads straight into the bank as he goes up 6 marble steps. As he steps on the second to last step, it breaks, just to show that he's imposing and heavy and beastly. And he has a small conversation with the security guard present at the bank entrance. We don't get to see Jones's face, but his appearance is quite shady, and nobody wants to talk to him like that. The guard's name is Julian Thawne, and he stares at the man with utter curiosity because there is something not right about him. But then we go to a flashback of him at the club looking at this dancer caught in 4K. You know he's got a wife at home, but there's a story about that later on where he makes a deal because he got caught proposition and he doesn't want to get caught by it. But more on that later. The story immediately switches to a tennis court where Selina Kyle is seen practicing tennis at a backyard tennis court of the Barringtons. Although with Selina Kyle, things aren't as simple as that. Mrs. Barrington fails to return Selina's serve as Selina reassures her to keep on practicing because Selina hasn't failed a client ever. The situation gets worrying and Thawne immediately materializes as Jones walks up to the counter and asks the bank teller for all the cash. The teller says that he didn't understand him at the first instant and he would like him to repeat that. Jones has had enough of it, so he smashes his hands for the glass and grabs the teller by his jacket. Then he closely repeats his words, "Your money, all of it." 2 minutes after Jones has entered the bank at 4:55 p.m., the alarm at the bank has been rung. Gotham City police will be showing up anytime now to apprehend this robber. But then again, it's Killer Croc we talk about, who nobody wants none of that smoke. But the police were in for another surprise. Back at the Gotham City Police Department, Sergeant Ross gets news of First National Bank of Gotham City, the newly appointed police commissioner Jim Gordon. Gordon tells Ross that the situation is as alarming as he says it is because he hasn't been home since yesterday, and he hasn't been out all day because of how it's been raining. Gordon questions how dark it is outside as he goes outside to turn on the bat signal. The time is 5:03 p.m. The story switches to the ever clever Selina Kyle, where she's having tea with Mrs. Barrington, whose first name is Cookie. Hey Cookie, hey girl, hey, that's a good name for her. You know, that sounds like a name of a girl at the club. But anyways, the ladies are surrounded by 2 strong guards who are always present by the side of Mrs. Barrington. It turns out that Mr. Barrington is the president of the First National Bank of Gotham. And it seems as if Selina and Waylon Jones are working on this whole plan side by side. For Selina Kyle's next trick, she asks Mrs. Barrington to use the powder room because her clothes make her uneasy with all this tennis she's been playing. We then see Ronald Barrington, the husband of Cookie Barrington. I just love that name, Cookie. It reminds me of that girl from True Blood, Sookie. But back to the story. In his office being visited by a man to alert him about the situation taking place at the bank, the vice president of security operations is here to discuss the situation with Mr. Barrington. As soon as we see him coming inside Mr. Barrington's office, it's Nigma. It is Edward Nigma. He says that Ronald should be receiving a call from his wife. As Barrington receives a call from his wife, she tells him that she's being hurt, and Edward takes the phone away from him before he can answer her. Next, we see that Thawne was planning this robbery with another unrevealed person almost a day ago. Thawne is an insider who knows the robbery will happen, and Waylon Jones, who turns out to be Killer Croc, will go away with all the money. That is until the Dark Knight arrives at the scene. He listens to Killer Croc's taunts, grabs him by the neck, and sends him flying through the glass because he disguised his voice by saying, "I will get your money, just come over here." And Killer Croc goes to the situation, and guess what? That's what Batman throws down with Killer Croc, straight up. Meanwhile, Selina Kyle at the Barrington house then comes out the powder room looking the way she does in her Catwoman suit. Mrs. Barrington and the 2 guards are stunned at her appearance. Mrs. Barrington asks her what even that suit is. What is that suit? Selina proceeds to rip apart these 2 guards with her claws, and her dodging skills from their bullets are phenomenal considering these 2 guards are highly trained marksmen that rarely miss. Edward, meanwhile, takes Barrington to the particular Vault 5, to which Barrington says he doesn't know the code. It is as big as a riddle for him as it is for Edward, or is it? It's the biggest riddle yet. Batman and Killer Croc trade blows, and I just love this right here. I mean, to me, this is my favorite part of the book, where Batman and Killer Croc are just going at each other straight up. I imagine this is Batman before he gets all seasoned. During their fight, Batman loses 2 teeth, but he gets back at Killer Croc because Killer Croc loses 14 teeth. Edward manages to unlock the safe. He then chooses the box he is supposed to have and keeps it on the table in front of him. Edward then calls out Barrington, claiming that nobody thinks he can do this, but he ends up carrying out the robbery successfully. That is, if Batman doesn't have the final say. It is then that we see the voice of Mrs. Barrington early on the phone that was a recorded message. It was Catwoman telling her what to say and how to say it. She is one smart cookie, or should I say, kitty. Meow. Edward gets what he wants from the vault, and he meets up outside the bank with Selina. She picks him up. Only the two are working together, and Killer Croc was only robbing the bank to get the money for himself, or some kind of version. I just love this setup right here. You're doing one thing, I'm doing another, but we're all working together. After the music dies out and this robbery dies out, Edward and Selina meet up at the rendezvous point with Penguin. Edward boasts about how Penguin says it couldn't have been done what they did, but Edward is standing tall and victorious, and Selina witnesses their exchange. Suddenly, the scene changes when Edward Enigma takes Penguin's umbrella and asks to take his umbrella and keeps it on him and strike him in the head until the Penguin is dead. Selina looks over in horror. The bat signal is shined. Something else is about to go down. The Cape Crusader then meets up with Jim Gordon on the rooftop, and the two of them agree that it was in fact vault number 5 that was robbed. What was inside that vault, we don't know, but before Gordon can detail it or go any further, Batman fades into the night like typical Batman fashion. And that's how we end Batman Killing Time issue number 1. I'm intrigued. I'm in. I'm in. That's all I got to say. I'm in. I haven't done a Batman comic review on this channel in a while, and this is the one I wanted to get into. So if you guys like to see more of it, comment below, let me know, and I will definitely review the whole entire series. But with that being said, Batman Killing Time issue number 1. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Last but not least, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.